Hey, what's up, everybody? It is currently 8:05, July 8th, 2026. It's currently 85 degrees outside. It's gotten kind of cooler, so that's nice. We're in NODA in Charlotte, and I really hope you enjoy this next episode. So, yeah, let's get started. Hey y'all, this is the Talk to the Masses podcast. My goal, my vision is to talk to more people, experience new things, and donate back to St. Jude. And my name's James Dunleavy, and today we've got...
Sam Hyman.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Where are you from?
Originally from Lynchburg, Virginia, born and raised for the first 18 years of my life. Lynchburg is South Central Virginia, so definitely was... a cool experience, a unique experience. Everybody has their own unique journey. I think that's what's beautiful about the world. And I enjoyed growing up there. It was a unique, again, I use that word just because everyone has a one-of-one journey. And really ultimately took off from there. We can get into what I'm passionate about and things like that. But yeah, I went to Easy Glass High School, class of 2012.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy looking back on that. If I say that out loud, really, all I knew growing up was sports. I just was passionate about that as a kid starting off. So yeah, man.
What was like your first sport that you really got into?
So I would say I'd have to say baseball. Like that was the sport that I was consistently doing at a young age. Soccer was also in there as well, but I vividly remember just throughout the years, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, like consistently playing baseball. But then I even throw in basketball, where I was playing in my cul-de-sac with a little like hoop, one of those that you could like manually raise up and down.
Yeah.
And I was playing basketball. So basketball, soccer, baseball, they were all kind of intertwined. I ended up playing baseball in high school primarily, but...
What was your position?
I was an outfielder, primarily. An outfielder, but I did some pitching. But I think about basketball, though, when I was a kid, because that's really what propelled me into this career that I'm currently at, and that's sports broadcasting, where I would be in my driveway or I would be in the cul-de-sac playing basketball, talking to myself, and not realizing that I eventually would want to like try this out as an announcer one day, broadcasting live sporting events. And so it's kind of funny to reflect on that every time I tell somebody that story, where I was playing basketball, talking to myself, making up names, using actual names, intertwining all that, like so-and-so passes it to so-and-so, shoots and scores. Like I just like make this up. And so, yeah, it was all sports for me. That was a big passion of mine growing up.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times as I was a kid, I would like be playing basketball alone, and I would do like the buzzer beater like storyline. I'd be like, oh, he shoots. He misses, but there's actually like an extra 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he shoots again. Whoops. Like, he made a mistake. They're going into overtime. He shoots again.
Yeah.
And I grew up around a lot of basketball because my dad worked for the Hornets. So I saw like tons of Bobcats games. I like, when the Bobcats were the worst season in like NBA history, I went to almost every home game, or somebody in my family went to almost every home game.
That's dedication right there.
I know. And it was hard because we were terrible. We won 6 games that year. But I mean, growing up, I had like a similar experience where I was just around basketball a lot. So yeah, what was your life like at home growing up?
Yeah, so I have a brother that I'm pretty close with. He lives in Denver, and it was kind of the same
Denver,
thing.
Colorado?
Denver, Colorado. Yeah, sorry. kind of a cool dynamic. Like he was out there with me at times, like playing basketball, and we were talking together as like we were narrating what was happening. So that was kind of funny, although he completely like is not pursuing sports broadcasting, and I meanwhile am.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, we'd have epic games of ping pong growing up. Pool, making up names, using real life professional names. Like it was funny. It was just a funny upbringing, a lot of competitiveness, wiffle ball, you name it. And my dad, a longtime teacher, physicist, astronomer, so like completely different. Mom, teacher as well, English, amongst other things. But we, specifically me, just sports. I was definitely curious to learn about other things, but like really when it came down to it, sports was just what I loved. My dad actually, this is cool, how I grew up an Atlanta Braves fan, and each time I switched schools, so like, you know, it actually started in elementary school, but like from elementary school, middle school, high school, college, grad school, like every time I switched schools, my dad promised to take me to an Atlanta Braves game in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a thing where we got like a scrapbook of all of our moments together from these different trips. And so that was really, really a cool thing, especially like looking back on it now. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, that was kind of a little bit about my upbringing there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Syracuse University. Syracuse, up in cold, very cold, upstate New York. And I remember, like, there's a funny video of me that is not going to get out there yet, but there's a funny video of me, like, essentially just like kind of full of emotion, just being like, I'm gonna go to Syracuse University, and I want to be Mike Tirico. Like I just said, it was just all like emotions. It was cool looking back, but yeah, I went to Syracuse University. It's a really competitive broadcasting school, and that's one of the reasons why I went to Syracuse, is because I knew. So my backing up, like I mentioned that story about how I would like talk to myself when I was playing in the cul-de-sac basketball. Like that was sort of the beginning of me realizing that I wanted to pursue sports broadcasting as a career. And then I looked up, okay, what are some of the schools in the country that are really heavy with broadcasting and have like a ton of resources poured in. And Syracuse was one of those schools, looking at all the big time announcers that you'll see on television or on the radio, so on and so forth. So I really went all in. It came down to Syracuse, Butler, and George Mason. I chose Syracuse, and what an experience that was. I remember when I was a freshman walking across campus at like 5 a.m. to do these sports radio updates, not even knowing if I would ever get on the actual air. Like this was an opportunity just to practice a sports update. So like it was 3 or 4 paragraphs of what was going on in the general area. So not just Syracuse sports, but we'd even touch into New York City, even though that's like a 3+ hour drive from Syracuse. So I remember like walking across campus and a foot, 2 feet of snow on the ground, just to like write up something, practice it, not actually go live on the air, but just practice recording it in the studio and get feedback from upperclassmen. And that was like the start of me really getting the full grasp of like, okay, these are the steps and the the building blocks that I need to take to get to a point where I can get on an actual live air situation.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of like, you hear those like pro basketball players. I've got like Kobe in mind, where he was like, my dad would take me out and we'd be shooting hoops till like 12 at night, and he'd be like, you have to do this or like you don't get dinner.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it just the amount of dedication and the amount of like time and heart and that they put into that, just as to show like how much like they had to go all out for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you gotta want it.
I mean, that's impressive. That I know very few people that would go out at 5 a.m. in 2 feet of snow just to practice.
Yeah. I felt like I would get behind if I didn't. Like it was that competitive. Like there were probably, I would always get there and there'd be 5 to 10 people guaranteed like doing the same thing. And I was like, I have to do this. Like the people around me are motivating me. They're pushing me. And I also personally like just genuinely wanted to learn and quickly pick things up at a pace where I can feel like I was progressing as a student.
What were the biggest things that did progress you as a student? Like, what are the biggest things that helped you learn? What are the biggest lessons you learned?
That was a great question by you. I want to shout you out because you followed up with something that I mentioned. That's something as someone that interviews a lot of people like myself, like it's not just about like the questions that you have written down or that are ingrained in your head. You need to listen to the person that you're interviewing, because if they say something that you want to follow up on, it could be potentially cool insight. So
yeah,
that was a good job by you. I want to shout you out for that. So
thank you.
You asked the key ingredients of what helped me progress specifically throughout college to start. I would say the people around me that I was in the same grade as, and also the upperclassmen providing me feedback with every finite detail. Like we can get nitty gritty here with a specific example where I need to enunciate or I need to inflect a certain way with a specific sentence. So like when I'm reading a sports update, LeBron James had 20 points for the Cavaliers. Like if I was to mention that in my sports update, LeBron James dropped 20 points for the Cavaliers. LeBron James dropped 20 points for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like that has a little bit more juice, more kick, and is a little bit more engaging than me saying LeBron James had 20 points for the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
LeBron James dropped 20 points, had a 20-piece for the Cavaliers, and finishing with your inflection pointed down instead of LeBron had 20 points for the Cavaliers, like you're finishing up high. And that has nothing to do with like my voice at the time, like still growing and evolving, or for anybody that has a higher pitch voice. It's not even about that. It's about like just finishing with sort of that downward tone so that you are confidently giving your viewer the impression that you've finished your statement. Does that make sense? Like if I say something where it's like LeBron had 20 points for the Cavaliers, it just sounds like are you going to continue your sentence or
are you questioning it?
Right. Exactly. Now there's an opportunity for you to phrase something the way of like, and what happened next? Like,
yeah,
LeBron had 20 points in regulation for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then the game went into overtime. Guess what happened next? Like that's kind of like you want to. Then you're leaving your audience to think, okay, like let me hear more. So that's sort of stuff like that is honestly what I picked up on when I was in college at Syracuse, and that's just one example. But it was very, very. It was a specific. Every time I would get my sports update critiqued, it was that type of like in-depth feedback, and I to this day, am forever grateful for that, because that set the foundation for the way that I was able to continue to grow, because I had the heck of a lot more to grow, and not just that area.
Yeah. I mean, that specific example reminds me of music, because I'm very music minded. I play a lot of instruments. And when I'm writing music for drumline specifically, I try and be very intentional about where I'm going with it, because same way, you're just trying to tell a story and trying to end with something either satisfactory, or you're trying to lead towards something. And I think
I like
that's
that.
why like texting is different than a phone call, is different than FaceTime, is different than like talking with somebody in real life, because it's just every time you go up the ranks, I feel like you are gaining more information.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's cool. You kind of see the comparison with your passion for music, you said.
Yeah.
Right? So that's cool.
What are some games? What are like the big games that were the pivotal points in your career? I want to hear about those.
Interesting. Yeah. So I would say one of the coolest I had as a student in college was the NCAA tournament. My senior year, men's basketball, Syracuse is playing in the Sweet 16. The Sweet 16 in Chicago at the United Center. And it's Syracuse against Gonzaga. And
is that where the Bulls play?
That is where the Bulls play.
Okay.
So it was Syracuse against Gonzaga. Domantas Sabonis was on Gonzaga, for anyone that, was watching college basketball at that time. Malachi Richardson, Tyler Lydon, Mike Benajay, some of the names for Syracuse on that team. And I was on student radio with my one of my friends who also was calling the game with me, Jay, and that was really memorable, I would say, from a student perspective. And then, since I graduated college, I've lived in 7 states. I've been around different places a whole bunch throughout the course of my career. I started my professional experience in Minnesota. Then I went to Vermont. Then I went to South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio. I've been moving around a lot, because the industry just sometimes it requires that. My path is my path. Again, everybody's got their own journey, but mine has been moving around a lot. So that's one of the ones that comes to mind. But I would say one of the most memorable games, when I was working for the University of Vermont men's basketball, I was the radio announcer, and America East Championship game 2017, Vermont punches a ticket to the NCAA tournament after going 16-0 in conference play, running through the conference tournament to win and go dancing. It was absolutely electric. I'll never forget that. The Catamounts are dancing. What else? There's so many. I mean, my first time on national television was just, it's unforgettable. I think back to, it was 2021. I was in the Bahamas, CBS Sports Network, and I was so nervous. I was absolutely terrified, because this is a huge moment for me. I'm getting this opportunity. BD Global, the company, gave me the opportunity to be on national television. Josh Franklin, Brooks Downing, and I was shaking before the game.
I'm sure.
And it's funny, because I think back to when I was in the cul-de-sac playing basketball by myself. I didn't mention this earlier, but I would quickly get quiet when neighbors would come outside.
Yeah.
Because I was concerned about what they would think of me.
Yeah.
Talking to myself, who is this person talking to themselves? And it's not anything crazy or anything like that, but I felt the nerves back then. And it's crazy. in a kind of a full circle moment. Same thing happened in college when I only really went the radio route. I did not try television because I was just so intimidated initially by the camera, where I was looking into the camera and all I could think about is the people watching, not what I was saying. Yeah. And I still sometimes I fight that still, especially when I get into new environments, new situations, and I've got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. But that's a moment, that national television opportunity down in the Bahamas, a college basketball tournament. So yeah, I mean, I could go. I got so many awesome moments. I'm just grateful for the people that I've met along the way. That's really what's it's about making an impact, and that's like what I'm always tied back to. Is I love what I do, and it sometimes, heck, most of the time, it doesn't feel like work.
That's when you know it's a good job. When it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. That I got nothing there. You're right. You're spot on.
Were there any games that you had to call or you were told to call? They were like, oh, I kind of don't want to do this, and then you went and interviewed the people and talked to the people, and you're like, wait, there's actually something to this.
Yeah. That's a good question. I would say there's been so many times where I would drive to various colleges or high schools, like far out of the way, like 4+ hour drives. And I would be thinking like, is this worth it after doing it time and time again? Like, I can't really pinpoint one, but I know that there have been many games where like I had to drive 4 or 5+ hours to go call the game, the sporting event, and I'm like, is it worth it? But every single time I throw the headset on, I really, for the most part, am able to block all the noise out, and I like am able to really be reminded how much I love doing this. Like that's just, I love telling stories, specifically with me, like sports. I love telling stories of athletes, coaches, staff members involved in sports about their journey with sports and about their journey outside of sports. And so that's like really what really hits me when I think about those moments when maybe I was too tired, or I didn't want to spend extra time editing this video or driving this many hours. It's all about impact. That's what it comes down to for me, is I try to push the limits and go the extra mile as much as I can, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about who we're doing this for. We're amplifying the visibility of these athletes, these coaches, these people.
Awesome.
So
when talking to the coaches or the people or the players, who was your favorite? Or who really sparked you as like that?
Man, that's another tough question. Like,
maybe some of your favorites.
Yeah, some of my favorites like that stand out. Gosh, I mean, there's so many, but like the first person just in this particular setting that popped into my head, only because it popped in my head in the way of me thinking in chronological order to some degree. So my first job out of college was in Minnesota. I was a broadcaster for the St. Cloud Rocks, and I remember just being fresh out of college, like this is so fun. So I'm in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I want to shout out our head coach, our manager at the time, Augie Rodriguez, and just how welcoming, how personable he was when I always interviewed him for a pregame show or a postgame interview. just his level of appreciation and welcoming me, like embracing my presence and not just seeing me as someone that's there to do a job, like actually seeing me as a person, like that was awesome to have, especially like my first year out of college, like and the athletes too. Like it's one thing to like do your job, go home, but it's another thing to actually like develop relationships with people, get to know them on a personal level. So that's one example I would say. But I mean, there's just so many, man. It's really cool to see like how many places I've worked, because at every stop I've been uncertain about like my growth, my level of development. Like I question a lot about like, am I improving with my craft? Like, what do I need to do specifically to get better? And sometimes I get like, the question should be, what do I need to do to get better? Not what do I need to do to get to the next step? Like, because it's about growth and being present in the moment and where you are. And I just thank like everybody for really allowing me to be my full self, because it's not always the case. Like not everywhere I've been, like I've struggled sometimes to be my full self, but like I'm really fortunate that, you know, most of the time I've been able to do that. And it takes time. It really takes time to develop relationships. I think we take that for granted. Like in college, you're around all these people 24/7, but like when you get out into the real world, like newsflash, like you really got to be intentional about getting to know people on a personal level, and that especially comes with time.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that a ton when getting out of high school because I didn't go to college, and I had what I felt like was a very big friend group, and then they all just went away to do their own college stuff.
I feel that, man. There's like nobody there's a couple people from Syracuse that live in Charlotte right now. A bunch of my friends are right there in New York City or right there in Boston, Massachusetts, and they're all staying connected. Now I talk to them over the phone and stuff like that, but like it's different when you're physically in person on a regular basis with a group of people. And I feel that. It's hard. It's hard to branch out, but that's like the running community has changed my life.
Yeah.
So have you been able to branch out, like despite like your particular friend group? You said kind of your friend group from previous years.
For sure. Through music and marching band, definitely. But I also started going to these run clubs, and that's where I met you, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
But
Barn burners.
Burners, yeah. Well, actually, the first time I met you was at the Wings for Life race.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Matt Miles was putting that on.
Yeah.
And Red Bull.
Yeah.
That is right. My head was in like 80 places that day. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah. I was running, but not like running
You were running the event.
I was cheering. I was not running the event. I was cheering. I was like encouraging. I was just a volunteer.
So for some context, I did this race. You like helped, the event, and Grace Hoover was the one who got me to do it.
Okay.
Met her.
I don't. Maybe we know by faith.
She was the one who did like the Red Bull part of it.
Okay.
And I went to high school with her. But I am running this race, and there's like a virtual car that chases you, and you have to like outpace the virtual car.
Yeah.
But we did it in laps, and every time I'd run around this lap, like Sam would be like, let's go. And then every time I ran around this lap,
you're like,
I'd be a little bit more hype about it.
You're like, who is this guy? You want me to fix that? We'll let it roll.
We'll let it roll. It's whatever.
Stick with us. Don't worry about that. Focus up here.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, and something that you probably don't know about that day, which is a little bit embarrassing for me, but I'll put it out there for the story, is I had like some crazy poops after.
Oh man.
Like I was in the bathroom like 8 times at the Tipsy Pickle.
Gosh. I mean, that was a one-of-a-kind event, I feel like.
Yeah, it was one-of-a-kind poop, too.
That is crazy.
But I talked to you after, in between the bathroom sessions, and I was just like, man, you were hyping me up the whole time, and that was awesome. And then I saw you at Barn Burners.
That's right. That's what we had. We ran together. We just naturally, like,
Yeah.
you know, collided, figuratively speaking, and just started running.
Yeah. But when we go to these run clubs, at least me, like, people are like, oh, how fast you run, or how far are you running, or like, what are your, goals? What are you running for?
Mm-hmm.
What's your next race? And I think that's great and all, but I just go out for the people. I just go out and talk. I love talking to people.
I'm right there with you. That's what it's all about. I started running in 2020. Mm-hmm. Like during COVID, I started running.
Was it because you had nothing else to do?
I had nothing really else to do. I pulled out my phone. I set a timer to 15 minutes, and I went for a run. Actually, before that, I don't even think I brought my phone, and I don't think I set a timer. I just went for a run around. I worked at Wingate University at the time, and I just ran around campus. I did that once with my friend Emery. I think that was one of the early starts of this. But I was back home in Virginia, just running by myself, and I was chasing curiosity. Where can I go with this sport? Why am I doing this? I just wanted to find something that was going to challenge me outside of my career, because I have dealt with a lot of self-doubt, uncertainty throughout the course of my sports broadcasting career. And that blends and overflows into content creation and media relations, so on and so forth. But I've spent a lot of uncertainty in that area. How can I challenge myself in something else that will also help me push through that doubt and that uncertainty with my career? And running came into the picture. And during COVID, I started running by myself. And then in July 2021, my life changed, where I joined. I didn't even know what I was joining at the time. I showed up to Mad Miles Run Club by myself. I didn't know anyone at all. July 27th, I think was the exact date, 2021. I didn't know a single person. I don't even remember how I heard about it, because at the time in 2021, Mad Miles was just really getting off the ground. Cornell Jones, Vanity Jones, the co-founders of Mad Miles Run Club, we were meeting at 1501 South Mint Street, and when I showed up, I remember there was probably 30 to 40 people, and I just kept showing up consistently. And that's where I realized, all right, this is bigger than just my individual progression as a runner. It's about community. It's about bringing people together. It's about welcoming people in a space, and the rest is history. I've met so many people along the way, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's helped me in my broadcasting career, because I think about all that energy, all that love, all that passion that everybody in the running community has given me, the people that I've encountered, that I've met, not just at Mad Miles Run Club, but now when I moved to Ohio, I left and went to Ohio for about 2.5 years, and then I came back. And now there's all these other run clubs. So it's hard to go, you can't go to all of them.
Can't go to all of them.
So I the Soul, Barn Burners, I've been to a couple of others at times. The amount of energy, passion, love, I get emotional thinking about it, because of the impact that it's had on me, and I've tried to pour the impact onto other people as well, because it's important to have something outside of work. It really is, and it doesn't have to be running, but it just so happens to be running for me.
And then on top of that, with the amount of times that you've moved so quickly.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, that's the other thing.
I think running clubs and all that is probably, I don't know if you did them at other places, but it's like a great way to just like instantly connect with people because you've all got this one goal.
Yeah.
It's just so.
It is. I mean, it's so. I just have. I don't even know. It's so. I don't even know like which direction to go here, but I just know that like. It's so important to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like, I remember when I showed up, and I still show up to spaces where I've never been before, because that's something that I want to challenge myself. Like, if I go to a broadcasting network event and I'm like nervous or feeling some type of way, like I think about how, all right, I showed up to Mad Miles Run Club by myself. I go back to that first moment where I really like became comfortable with the uncomfortable, and the level of consistency that's required, like to pour into a community. And I'm like, it can be life-changing, and it has. And now I'm like I try to do that to other people. So if I see someone that, whether it's their first time, whether it's this person's first time at a run club or not, anybody that I naturally interact with, I try to have a conversation with in some way, shape, or form. And it's hard because there's like so many people out there, but I think I've really tried to be like, have my head on a swivel and really talk to as many people as possible in the running community and just uplift, love. And we need more of that in this world. We need more passion towards like being loving and like caring about one another. I think we can be more intentional about that stuff, and yeah, it's just important.
Yeah, I love the word intentional.
Yeah,
because it's like, if you're not doing something with like real intent behind it,
yeah,
then why were you doing it?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the phrase like seek discomfort?
Oh yeah, I have. I think I want to say like one of the first times I heard that, or maybe in some way, shape, or form, I was reading Mark Manson's book. I don't know if you've heard of Mark Manson, but there's a book out there called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
PG version.
Yeah.
And he talks about how it's like it's very important to seek discomfort, seek uncertainty. Uncertainty leads to growth, I think, is one line that I like remember reading from his book. And that's important.
Right now, I'm reading Atomic Habits, but I've heard that. Yeah, it's a good book.
Yeah.
If you want to be more efficient in life, or
yeah, I got to pick back up on the reading. I read like six or seven books during COVID.
Yeah.
2020. I've not been able to consistently say that I've done that many each of the years to follow, but I need to get back into it.
I'm a terrible reader. I have dyslexia.
It's so hard to focus.
But it's ironic because in the book Atomic Habits, they say like always like make progress, even if it's just a little progress.
Yeah.
Always move. I forget. It's like always move forward, even if it's slow, but never backwards. So I read just like a page every night, even if it's nothing. I read a page every night. But 12 ways to not give a damn.
Yeah.
Is
the subtle art of not giving an F. Yeah, I think it's important to seek discomfort. Look, I going back to when I was a kid, I don't know why, but I was naturally like worried about what people would think of me.
Me too.
I don't know why, but
I think it's very human.
That's like carried over to like when I'm on TV or I'm on social media, or like as my job entails. And I like a lot of the work that I'm most proud of, people don't tell me to do. Like I come up with these creative ideas because I'm passionate about it, and then I take them to a certain level, and then I've got people supporting me and willing to trust me that the vision is going to come to life. But like, still, when I go on a broadcast or like I present in front of an audience who's watching the sporting event, like I am, especially if it's a new environment, I'm thinking about what other people are thinking of me. And you don't want to get caught up in that. And it's something that I fight a lot. So thinking about, like, that's kind of how I was growing up, where even like I'm in the outfield and my coach hits a ball and I'm like, well, if I drop this, somebody's going to get mad at me. Like, just already mentally just not in the right headspace. So I've been fighting that, pushing through that, and gotten a whole heck of a lot better with that mindset. But to your point about seek discomfort, the more that you do that, the more unstoppable you become in those areas and just with your whole perspective. Like my mindset with like being able to show up to Mad Miles by myself at the very beginning, not knowing anyone, and consistently like week after week after week, like same thing with my individual running. The discomfort, of not knowing anybody initially.
Yeah.
And then when that wears off, it's like, okay, I did it there. Like I can go and go to this broadcasting event or present in front of a new audience and remember that I pushed through that discomfort elsewhere. Why can't I push through the discomfort here? Yeah.
And another thing that I think is interesting is humans are very wired to be uncomfortable with these kinds of things. But if you think about it, it's so, like, the stakes are so low.
Yeah.
So you go to Mad Miles and you have a terrible experience and you never go back. Like, what are the consequences of that? Like 3 hours of your time?
Yeah.
A few hours of your time?
Anything. Like, what if I go somewhere and don't have a great time? All right, I won't go back.
Yeah, but then say you do go and you prove to yourself that you can talk to those people. Mm-hmm. The more times you do that, the more confidence it gives you to do it in the future.
Yeah.
And then you can also say, hey, I did this like all the time. Like, that's the proof.
Exactly.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. But it still doesn't, with each challenge or each scenario, there's a specific mental block because it's a totally different scenario, but you definitely want to draw from like your previous experiences without question. There's no denying that. And I think that's like, and you also want to make sure that, like, I try to be a sponge a lot of times where I want to absorb and see my surroundings and not quickly judge environments. Like I'm a curious person. I want to learn about people's backgrounds, people's upbringings, like because everybody has and everybody comes from everybody's cut from a different cloth for the most part. Like we don't know what we don't know. So, and when I think about that, observing, to me, this sounds like over the top, but like to just be able to observe in a setting, in an environment is powerful. When you can just go in a space and observe and not feel uncomfortable, like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's like the mindset I think I've tried to have is, everybody's got their own journey. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, and we're all here to learn and love and impact. So
yeah, I think it's easy to lose some of that thought, especially because we as humans do that all the time. So sometimes it's easier to be introspective or just be like, oh, I'm thinking about my own thing. But
yeah.
Curiosity
too. It's another thing. Sorry to cut you off. What were you just saying?
The last thing I wanted to ask you about, last two things really, is like, what's it like to have a vision in your head about the content that you want to create and that you believe in it, but no one else can see it because it's still in your head.
like what's it like to go from the vision to the product?
Yeah.
Like,
what's the mindset through that?
Wow. I mean, the mindset is crazy for me. This is just me speaking. Like, when I think about the work that I do, like, I go back to what I mentioned earlier, how some of my most proud moments and projects are things that nobody told me I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had the energy and passion and drive in my head to go out there and make it happen because I knew how much I felt it would rub off on people in a good way. At least I thought that. So, like,
did you tell yourself that you had to do those things?
I told myself that, like, I had to start. So I mentioned, like, worrying about what people think of me. Like, a lot of it is fake noise in my head. It could be real, but a lot of it is fake noise about, like, oh, like, this person's going to think this if you do this, Sam. Like, a lot of that is like fake dialogue that I'm creating in my brain. And it sometimes prevents me from, like, going from that vision to the project being executed and put together. Now, I do want feedback. I do want to learn from mistakes. I should have done it this way, like, do this better next time. But, like, when I think about just giving something a shot, like, I've tried to have the mindset of trust who you are as a person. If anything, like, when somebody asked me for their best piece of advice the other day, shout out to Demetria Stewart. She was like, she asked me, and I was like, be yourself, because nobody else can be you. And so that's the one thing. So when I graduated college, I learned how to work harder than the person next to me, but I didn't know how to be my full self. I knew how to be myself kind of when I was hanging out with my friends who I was comfortable with.
Sure.
But, like, when I'm actually just around an audience for work, performing, whatever, like, I struggle to be myself. So that's part of it, is, like, believing in what makes you you and how much of a difference maker that can be, because nobody else can do that. Like, you have your own it factor, period. And so one quick example is, it's silly, but, like, I've been able to do some sideline reporting on national television down in the Bahamas for CBS Sports Network. And I mentioned how my first opportunity was that in 2021. I did it in 2022, 2023, 2024. And one of the times I actually literally, like, on my phone and with the help of a GoPro as well, pitched an idea where I'd interview an athlete walking up to the top of a water slide, give him the GoPro, he goes down the water slide, and I clipped up like a 20 to 30 second segment of it. The longer version went on, like, YouTube or whatever. And I pitched it to the producer, Jay Levy, and he played it coming out of a commercial break on CBS Sports Network of what I put together on my iPhone and GoPro.
That's awesome.
And the BD Global's GoPro. So, like, it was just, like, a cool moment. And I know it's silly, it's funny, it's TV, but, like, people want sometimes that personal side, that fun entertainment side of sports.
Yeah.
And we happened to be at the glorious Baha Mar Resort and was able to make that happen. Same thing at Davidson, I work at Davidson now. We haven't really talked about that, but like the amount of creative freedom that I have at Davidson that my boss Joey allows me to have and my coworkers to create content. To same thing when I was at Ohio, Wingate, like the list goes on and on. Like having people really, the people that I'm doing this with, the athletes, the coaches, like really get excited about like my ideas. But it starts from within. You gotta believe that what you are capable of doing is unique, because it is. Because like you're one of one. The X's and O's of something is one thing, but like the personality, the style, the craft, like that's the separator for anybody. And so that's why like being yourself is important.
What are your goals? Like, what is your final goal with commentating? You want to call games for, NBA team or?
Man, I don't have a specific, like, I want to work for this sport, for this team, for this league, at this network. Like, I don't have a specific, like, X marks the spot. I've made it. Like, I just want to continue to make an impact wherever I am. I would like to continue to do the play-by-play, the sideline reporting, the content. I think those are the three. Like, I've done so many different types of content, whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera. But I would say, like, for a certain sport or a league or a team, like right now I'm at Davidson, like I'm able to do stuff for different sports in different ways, content, broadcasting, media relations. Like I would